Gather round, friends, new and old, and welcome to the POWWOW podcast. I am your host, Philip.
And I am his friend, David.
And this episode of the POWWOW podcast is brought to you by Slides, but more of that later. David, how are you doing today, sir?
I'm doing miserably.
Miserably?
The weather is getting cold, and I friggin' hate it.
Ah, I see. So it's getting cold. It's a downer. It's a real. It's not an upper. It brings everything down for you. Dang. But I see at least you
Absolutely.
have a comfy jacket.
Yes. Would you like to see closer?
I would love to see it closer. Oh God, it's branding. However, will we make it through?
Oh, it is my brand new Los Angeles Chargers hoodie. We probably won't even post this section of the video.
Oh no, I doubt we will.
So don't even worry about it. But I'm supporting the Chargers as hard as that is sometimes. Man, oh man. What about you, Phil? How are you doing?
Oh, I'm free balling today. Have you ever recorded while not wearing underwear?
No.
You should really try it. It brings you to a hear awareness, because normally whenever I'm doing the episode, I'm thinking about the topic. I'm thinking about, we have a sponsorship that we need to think about, and going forward, I'm thinking about maybe my outfit. Maybe I'm looking at the camera. Right now, I swear to God, all I can think about is the content that's coming out of my mouth and what is not there down below for me.
I don't do pretty much anything without wearing underwear, except for obvious things, of course. But maybe occasionally I'll sleep without any underwear, but even that's rare. I don't like to be without underwear.
That's support. It's such. I think this has to be why dogs, they have those support jackets that they wear, and everybody's like, dogs are so stupid. Why does something like that really work for them? It kind of makes sense now. Once you have that support, you kind of miss it when it's gone.
Yeah, I suppose. You know what? Better wear no underwear if you happen to be trying to conceive, because wearing briefs at least keeps your balls too warm.
Well, that's not an issue here.
I imagine that you, the listener, are tuning into this episode the day it came out because you're just so excited to listen to POWWOW. And that means that it is currently, for you, the 5th of November. And I'm sure you are familiar with Remember, the 5th of November, because how could you forget? Of course, it is the 5th of November in the UK, known as Guy Fawkes Night, the celebration of when Guy Fawkes tried to blow up Parliament in the Grand Revolution of whatever.
As a side note, David, I do think whenever the mantra tells you specifically to remember, like, who can forget the Alamo by this point, right? You have to remember the Alamo.
I know, right?
And so if it's the 5th of November, you must remember because it's in the friggin' mantra. So therefore, of course, nobody forgets it. We are in it. We are in revolution.
Yeah. So anyway, we're going to be talking about... We're going to be talking about revolutions in the spirit of the 5th of November.
Now, David, are we talking about
Parliament?
Are we talking about global revolutions, spinning rotations revolutions?
Whatever you want. Whatever tickles your revolutionary fancy.
Fantastic. Then let us start out by positive revolution, okay? This subject is taken to you by things that you think would revolutionize the world for a positive change. This is very broad, but it's mostly set on the topic of positive change, something that can be changed for the better. David, where do you take this?
The one thing, the one of several things that are kind of in a package deal, but I'm going to focus on this one thing, and that is single-use plastic. Now, in my life, Phil, I have been making every effort for this last several years to use as little single-use plastic in my life as possible. And do you know how much of a pain in the ass that has been to me?
I can personally say that it has been a major pain in your ass for you, having
No,
lived.
it hasn't.
Oh, okay.
No, it has not. No, that is my point. I'm You fell into my trap. No, it has not been a pain in the ass. It's actually not that hard. I mean, there's certain things that really are hard that are completely out of your control. When you're trying to buy food and all of it is packaged in plastic, that makes things really difficult. Sure. And foods that are packaged in sustainable materials are more expensive, which is a pain in the butt. But for the most part, there's so many things that you can do to eliminate single use plastics that actually aren't that difficult. Like, I started using bar soap again. Like, I don't use shower gel, I use a bar again because it comes in a little cardboard box, no plastic involved. Same with shampoo. I now use shampoo it comes in a bar and it's actually great. It works very nicely. My brother-in-law has started making conditioner for the whole family. So even our conditioner, yes, it comes in plastic tubs, but he buys all the separate ingredients in bulk. So there's limited plastic. The amount of plastic that we're using per liter of conditioner is vastly reduced. And that's just the start of where you can go to cut down on your plastic use. For example, my toothpaste as well is also in a little glass jar. So all of these things, when you buy honey, get the jar instead of the squeezy bottle. I know it's slightly irritating, but you'd be surprised at how quickly you get used to it.
If the honey is
I'm not
worth it, it's worth the squeeze.
I don't know what you're trying to say with that, Phil. I hope you're not trying
If
to
the
endorse the
honey is
plastic.
worth it, the honey is worth the squeeze. Recycle your honey.
Forget recycling. Forget recycling, man. You gotta just not buy the plastic in the first place. Then it doesn't need to be recycled. And I'm not going to rant any further because I could go on about this for a long time. Phil, what about you?
This is a rantalicious topic, and I think that we will both be on pedestals, assuredly. I'm sure. However, my one aside from what you're saying is the bar of soap. That's a lot of trust, man. That is a lot of trust. You have to be in an environment where you know the people will not infiltrate your personal soap, misuse your personal soap. Because let me tell you, I felt extremely guilty when I was in LA and you were there, and I used a bar of soap right after I wiped just to make sure things were clean. And I felt so guilty about it. I certainly hope that wasn't your bar of soap that I
Dude,
used.
it's soap. It's soap. It's meant to clean whatever is not clean.
No,
It's okay.
Okay, first of all,
It's
I kid. I
okay.
never used a bar of soap between my cheeks, mid wipe or something.
Oh,
No.
I that's not what I thought you meant by that.
That's what I'm saying, man. I was like, wow. First of all, let's get it. I was joking. Second of all, wow, that is a bold statement to still say that it's just cleaning. There's some things that are pretty
No.
dirty that I don't want to be secondhand cleaning off of. But anyways.
Obviously.
All right. It's funny that we go to the topic of cleaning because for my positive revolution, I too go to cleaning and I say, let's be cleaner. There's not much good to be found from this pandemic. Let's be clear about that. But the next steps to sanitation? Yes, more of that. And in fact, why aren't we asking places that have new accommodations due to the pandemic? Why weren't they doing this before? Don't know what this could refer to in your neck of the woods out there, but even if it's as simple as the foot handle to open doors in the bathroom or the single Germex dispenser that is motion censored outside of the bathroom, yes. The next level cleaning in airplanes and airports and even splatter shields in the Uber and Lyft accommodations, yes. And quite possibly the biggest one, gym cleaning. I have never seen more people purely looking out for cleanliness of equipment and persons in the gym than during the pandemic. Remember how you'd go to lay down before the pandemic and there was that sweat stain of the person's behind from before you? The only solution before was to wipe it yourself, which was possible, but always seemed off-putting. Even if you wanted to wipe it down, what happens if the wipey missed and it dragged, and then you're now touching their sweat? It was gross. Now they have personal wipers, people who clean the benches, weights, steps, pools, towels, you name it in there. They have a wipe and a wiper for you. More wipes, more clean. Viva la revolution!
I'm behind you on this. as you, the listener, may or may not remember or have heard before, I lived in Kenya when I was a wee lad, and I was talking to someone.
Is it Scottish down in Kenya?
No, but I just knew I was gonna say wee lad, and I can't say wee lad
Oh,
unless I say wee lad.
okay.
I was a wee lad
I
in
was
Kenya.
I was more so marveling at the fact of the hidden, I'm sure, Kenyan population that speaks purely Swedish or in a Swedish dialect or a Scottish dialect, I should say.
Right, Scottish.
Scottish.
Anyway, so I was talking to someone who lives in Kenya now a couple days ago, a friend of my parents, and he was saying that since the pandemic, the incidence of other diseases in in Kenya, and I'm guessing in a lot of Africa, is way down compared to what it was like before the pandemic, because now people are washing their hands. They know how, they're more informed on how to keep basic hygiene, and the incidence of other diseases is way down, which is kind of amazing and great. So I'm with you. Vive la revolution.
All right, we move along.
Revolution.
Revolution. All right, we move on to the next step of revolution, the next subject of revolution. We're going to opposite revolution, meaning we are looking for something you would revolutionize to the point it would be nearly the opposite of what it was to begin with, but you believe it makes it better. So it essentially has to be the opposite of current perspective of the current general population and populative idea has to be the opposite of that. But we are bringing forth revolution. I shall go first.
Go ahead.
You know who I'm going to be bringing this next one to? I'm talking to the fellow.
Brad Pitt.
No, not him. He can, but he is welcome to join the gravy train here.
Okay.
I'm talking to the fellow
Okay.
homies who make up 19% of Americans who don't prefer to sleep in silence. I'm going to bring this one to the 23% of Americans who use sleep aids to fall asleep. And it is to talk about specifically to the people who somehow disparage and put down the people who like to wear socks and sandals. Now, why am I using these numbers for sleeping in an argument for socks and sandals? You know why? Because if you're like me and fall asleep with the fan on, even though it may not be quiet like most people want, you are sleeping in an oxymoron. If you have a fan on and you like it cold, yet require a blanket, you are sleeping in an oxymoron. Sandals and socks don't just affect the 5% of people in the world with hyperhidrosis, excessively sweaty feet. It affects us all. We want to have the comfort of wearing sandals and free-forming our toes as we please, while also making sure that the sweat that does collect in there, hyper though it may not be, the sweat that does collect there stays where it should be, stays within the sock. We want revolution. We want Viva la France, Viva la Revolution.
That is quite a strong opinion about socks and sandals.
Thank you.
I went in an entirely different direction, and I don't know to what extent you're gonna love how opposite I am going with this.
Okay.
But I'm talking about social media.
Oh, wow.
Oh my goodness, where to start? I think that social media is the instrument of the demise of modern society. And it's not that it doesn't have positives. It's just that it is targeting consumers in absolutely the wrong way. First of all, ads. Get rid of ads entirely and add a small subscription fee if need be, right? I would happily pay like a $2 or $3 or $4 a month or euros or whatever to not have to deal with any advertisements on my Instagram. That I would love that. And if you don't want to pay it, fine. Don't use social media. Now, I think this as well. Reposts should be regulated. So there's tons of accounts on Instagram that just repost other people's stuff. Like there's kind of creepy accounts that like repost babes of TikTok, you know, and it's seedy and weird. And if they get enough likes, which they often do because they're basically posting highlights from all these other accounts, then they're getting money from that, but they're not actually generating their own content. Further to that,
just one second, one aside. The babes from TikTok are not seedy. They are just women trying to make their way in life. Let us not disparage the babes of
No. That's
TikTok.
not what I'm
Just the
talking
people
about.
who are retweeting it that are robots, Russian robots. Yes, the babes of TikTok,
Right.
you are
Okay.
doing a service to the world. Continue as you were.
Unfortunately, it's not even bots, though. It's just people trying to make bucks off other people's content. Anyway, I think that payment should be severely limited for social media presence, and instead, that money generated should be directed instead towards real artists and creators. For example, on Spotify, where artists, musicians don't actually make very much money through Spotify unless you're friggin' Taylor Swift or something, or other similar channels that actually generate meaningful creative content. Posting bikini pictures, while good for you, I just, maybe I'm being an old man, but
You are.
I don't think you should be a millionaire by posting bikini pictures.
My dear, dear, sweet, innocent, naive David. That is art, my friend. They are perfecting an art form, but I digress. I shall let you have your revolution. There will not be bloodshed in the streets on this day. We will merely talk and discuss about it. So viva your revolution. Next and lastly, we go to the last one, a personal revolution. Things we would shake up in our own lives, and we would be the conduits of change that maybe we would bring unto the world. David, what is your personal revolution?
I grew up moving from country to country to country, and it was difficult and very strenuous and having to make new friends all the time. Right now, I'm at a point in my life where I would relish the opportunity to have that fresh start again for the first time in a while. And so my revolution would be to completely turn my life upside down, move to a new country again, and get that fresh start. And even if that country is a country I've been to before, like the US, just to start fresh again, I would absolutely love that opportunity.
For my personal revolution, David, I'm going to start out simply by saying I'm tired of the smell. I don't know how this works in girls' circles, but I want to revolutionize guys giving other guys candles. I am tired of going to visit other guys' rooms and smell that there's this scent that you try and choose to ignore, but it's there. And to be fair, I don't think they know where the scent is coming from either, but they know it's there too. We need more manly scents. I think mandals are already a thing as man sandals see previous revolutions. And I don't usually try and play into gender stereotypes, but I think in order to appease the demographic most needing of candle therapy, we need mandals. We need scents that don't morph, but mask scents. We need revolution! And I will take that charge first by myself by this Christmas, mostly trying to give out men scented candles that mean something, that smell like something, that are something.
Yeah, shout out to Cole Lewis, former guest on POWWOW. He's come on twice. He's a big candle guy.
I enjoy good candle. I'm always a little, just because I'm me, I always get a little worried that I'm like, oh my God, what if this napkin happens to fall down and then it starts a fire? But other than that, I love them. I love candles. I can light them. I would even love how rustic it is to work via candlelight, even though it's me working off of a laptop.
Bad for your eyes, man.
Well, geez, man, you don't have to ruin the revolution by bringing in logic to it. God, revolution. This episode of POWWOW Podcast is sponsored by Sides.
Meet Sides, SIDES, an app that helps you take the law into your own hands.
Turn ordinary agreements into binding contracts in seconds. Then if a dispute arises, Sides will step in to resolve it for you.
Wait, Phil, that was supposed to be my line.
What did we agree to in the contract?
I don't know. I guess we can use Sides to settle this dispute, because each dispute costs a small one-time fee.
And if you win, which I will, it's all awarded back to you.
Sign up now and get 16% off for a limited time only.
We now move along to Mad Libs. Of course, a previously new segment. We are in the second rendition of this. We loved it the first time. We're bringing it back. David, would you care to go first or second in Mad Libs?
Oh, I'll go first.
You'll go first. Okay. Now, what does that mean in Mad Libs? Does that mean that you give me your Mad
I don't know, actually.
You know what? I'll go. I will give you the story first. So what I will need first
Okay.
is I need let's see. I need a plural noun.
Pubic hairs. The mind wants what the mind wants.
What I need is a verb.
Punching or punch.
It's in the past tense. One more past tense verb.
Stroked.
A way to dispel a crowd.
Okay. Oh my God, fire!
A type of workout.
Pilates.
Finally, I need a superhero name.
Captain Pickle.
Ladies and gentlemen, the story of Captain Pickle. Across the land, there was no more beloved figure than the almighty superhero, Captain Pickle. He was, of course, strong and brave, but he was most known for his ability to yell out fake scenarios when fighting bad guys. Yet, Pilates, whilst rescuing people from a burning building. However, there was one nemesis who ranked above the rest when it came to villains. None other than Dr. Nefario. Captain Pickle hated the evil doctor ever since he punched his car and stroked his own mother. But no plan was more evil than Dr. Nefario's latest. In fact, he planned to conquer not just the local area, but the entire world by covering the globe entirely with pubic hairs. He knew with pubic hairs around, no one would sleep, and thus he would take advantage of the tired and weary world by conquering what he pleased. How would Captain Pickle defeat his arch nemesis? Tune in next time to Mad Libs to find out. Your turn, David.
Wow. Okay, I need an adjective.
Sweaty.
All right, I need a location.
The girls' restroom.
All right, I need a noun.
German Shepherd.
And next, an exclamation of some kind.
Ah, my scrotum.
All right, I need an adjective.
Albino.
And lastly, a noun.
Eyeball.
Steve woke up early on Tuesday morning, feeling very sweaty. This was not the first time. Not wanting to miss a day of work down at the girls' restroom, he went outside and hopped on his wife's golden 1965 German Shepherd and rode it to the store. People were keeping their distance and giving him very concerned looks. The pharmacist took one look at Steve and said, "Ah, my scrotum!" I haven't seen it this bad since the 80s cocaine epidemic. There's only one solution in cases of albino-ness this severe. You need a maximum dose of eyeball. With our once more, we asked you guys on Instagram to submit some revolutionary ideas, or what is revolution to you guys? What are you fighting for in this world? What do you want to see change? Now, we got a few submissions, not too many, which is probably a good thing. You guys, I guess, are not feeling very revolutionary, or maybe just not wanting to share for fear of the government finding out.
That's good. Keep it on the DL.
Oh, I always keep it on the DL. Now, we got a mix of responses. We're just going to share a couple with you guys that we think are fun. The first one came from Coral Denny, who didn't mind a shout out. Her revolution to her was about fighting against the attack on women's rights.
So she was against.
And something against what?
The attack on women's rights, or was she for?
Yes. She was against the attack on women's rights.
Oh, good.
Not revolting against women's rights. No, not that. No. So shout out to Coral Denny, always one of our favorite top fans on the podcast. Thanks, Coral, for contributing.
Thank you, Carl.
And we're right there with you.
Yes, of course. And then the next one was from Scott, and he wanted to talk about Revolution 9, of course, pertaining to the Beatles' Revolution album, I believe. It's there off of their Revolution album.
Yeah. I didn't know what this was. I had to ask Scott what he was talking about. It's a 1968. It was the White Album, and
Very famous
and there
album.
was an experimental thing called experimental piece called Revolution 9, which was like a collage a collage of sounds or something.
Of sounds.
Right. It was. I haven't heard it or listened to it, but it was this experimental musical number that was a collage of sounds. And to Scott, that's what he thought of when we asked what was Revolution, what did that mean to him. He immediately thought of the Beatles and what they did for music, which makes sense, I would say. And then we got a couple from Jack. Shout out to Jack. The first one was climate change, and that's a pretty big one right now. Right now, as the COP26 summit is happening, and kind of depressing. If you've checked any of that out on the news, it's pretty rough. I was just reading today that India has pledged to go carbon neutral by 2070. 70. That's in 39 years. That's 20 years after the conference target line, which was 2050. And India are pledging 2070, which is 50 years from now, not 40. I'm doing my math wrong. 49 years from now is 2070. It's just ridiculous. It's just not good enough. Anyway, and then we got another one from Jack.
Whaling. Against whaling, find all the cats and stop them from whaling in your dumpsters and across. No. Against the hunt and finding out of whaling. Let the whales live. Let them eat plankton. We don't want anybody stealing those Krusty Krab recipes. So therefore, let the whales live. Do not continue the atrocities that happen upon whales. To be honest with you, it's not my personal revolution. I don't have a preference or against. I'm sure, given the choice, I would say
the environmental impacts are pretty straightforward there. Destruction of habitat, destruction of wildlife. So I'm with Jack on this one, and also I'm going to tag a piece onto that where they hunt sharks just to take their fins. They cut off their fins. It's a mostly Japanese practice to make the shark fin soup, and it is absolutely barbaric. And they literally let the rest of the shark just sink to the bottom of the ocean dead. It's so sad. Anyway, all of that, preserve the oceans, plastic, climate change, all of the above, cleanliness, and we move on.
It is time for the game, because as is with any good revolution, it is time to start with some games. I don't know. There really is no subtle transition into it.
But a revolution is not a revolution without trivia.
Absolutely. And one good David deserves another. So Hoffman, you'll have to step aside and bring in the other D, the other double D. We bring in David Sampson. Hello, welcome to the show.
David Sampson. Hi.
David Sampson. His middle name
That's
is
me. Yeah.
His middle name is Hoffman.
Hoffman. Yeah.
Welcome back to the show, David. How you doing? It's been a while since we've last seen you, and and we have new duds. Welcome to the new arena upon which we record. It's nice and spacious, wouldn't you say?
Yeah, I feel really comfortable here now. I wasn't as comfortable last time, but this time it just feels different. You know?
The last place was a piece of wasn't it? You can speak
completely.
Now we can look into each other's eyes.
Yes.
Oh my gosh.
And that's really what matters.
Yeah. You know, two of us actually are going to win here today, but we can all safely say that we'll be lost in each other's eyes.
Here's the thing, guys. You talk about revolution, I'm here for a revolution. I'm revolutionizing against you two as you guys beat me last time, and I will not stand for it. I will not stand for it. You demolished me, and I will not, like, this is never going to happen again. You will be revolutionized through everything this game offers. You're done. It's over.
You know, to bring this out of the darkness and shadows, one conversation me and Samson have had, because as those of you who have not heard the podcast, we should be bringing in context here. David Sampson is my best friend. We've known each other for a while. I didn't like him at first. I love him now. I think we're all caught up. All right. David Sampson and me have had off-camera conversations concerning just this very podcast. David Sampson is a loyal listener to the podcast and has always told me prior to his coming on to the podcast before, oh my God, the guests you guys bring on sometimes, like they just don't even know how to play the games. I feel like I'd win every single game that they bring up, but we finally bring him onto the show and he makes a fool of himself. He loses not only to me, which is fine and dandy, he loses to Hoffman. How disrespectful can you be? So I will have to put him back in his place yet again. Hoffman, I hope that you lose because I just need a bump in the standings. Other than that, let us get to that very thing upon which we came here for after these questions. Since Samson is my guest, Hoffman, it is your turn for your first question.
All right, Samson, I want to know this about you because I'm glad these are two questions that I have that I actually don't know the answer about you because I didn't know you were going to be the guest today. Would you go on a commercial flight to space if you were the winner of a raffle and you were able to go for free? Would you go to space on a commercial, just for fun flight to space?
How long would I be there for?
A couple days in space.
Couple days? Yeah, why not, dude? That would be awesome. How many times can people just go to space for fun?
I know, right? I'm with you. Absolutely.
David Sampson, we all know you love bubble baths. I'm just curious, what is it?
It is
all right.
It's a well-known fact about you, David Sampson.
I'm glad that we're just laying it all out right now, in these questions,
Yeah, absolutely. It's a trust tree, trust us. And there's just us three sitting here. Yes. We know you love bubble baths. I'm curious, what is your favorite scent, like in the bubble bath? Are you a vanilla man? Are you a lavender? Are you more of a tender or, apple orchard kind of guy? What's like your go-to scent in the bathtub?
My go-to scent in the bathtub. Well, you know what? I will say I've been intrigued by these bath bombs. I've never done it yet, but I've always been intrigued. And so I would definitely be interested in, like, I don't know, maybe a vanilla might be cool, but I'm also very much a chocolate kind of guy, as you probably well know. But I don't know if it would be good just to lay in chocolate. You know what I mean? Like, not like really eat it and to lay in it. No, probably not. But sometimes you need some chocolate.
But vanilla's so vanilla.
You know what? Maybe it is. What would you suggest for me if I was to go with some scent? What would you give me? Huh?
I don't know. Maybe honeycomb and lavender.
Peppermint schnapps.
What did you say, Phil?
Said peppermint schnapps.
I thought you said pork chops.
Oh.
No, smell in a certain way.
Well, he does love his meat.
You're coming out of that bath smelling like a snack.
The whole damn meal. Hoffman, your last question.
Okay. Pretty simple. What is the best cereal?
Oh, I have high opinions on this. Okay. For a while, it was Cocoa Pebbles. Cocoa Pebbles, number one all time.
Was it chocolatey Cocoa Pebbles?
That's what Cocoa Pebbles are.
Why would Cocoa Pebbles not be chocolatey?
Yeah.
I forget that it's called Fruity Pebbles or in Cocoa. I thought it was like Fruity Cocoa Pebbles or something. I'm sorry. I ignore me.
Ignore him.
Yeah. Take a chocolate bath. Yeah. No. So chocolate Cocoa Pebbles. You messed me up. Cocoa Pebbles. I love Cocoa Pebbles, but it just recently got dethroned as number two to
Count Chocula.
No. To chocolate cinnamon toast crunch. It is so good.
I've heard good things actually.
It's like amazing. Like I it changed my life. Like really, like it's my all-time favorite now.
There's an expat store here where I live. We're close to where I live. and that sells Cinnamon Toast Crunch. You know the smaller size boxes of the standard small size box that you can get of Cinnamon Toast Crunch, and it will cost the equivalent of like $7 or $8 for that one little box because it's imported all the way. It's a really sad thing.
Yes.
Well, all right.
3 questions are done. Hoffman, lead
Yes,
us
let's
home.
move on to the game. And in the spirit of revolution, I thought rock and roll was a musical revolution way back in the day, right?
Mm-hmm.
And so I am calling this game Rock and Roll. And the idea is there will be a statement made, and the contestants will have to buzz in with their name. So if I make a statement that said that, and I said World War II ended in 1955, then Phil buzzes in with his name, and he can choose to roll with it, as in keep it the same, or rock the boat, rock it, change something. There's something wrong with that statement. He's going to change it. So if Phil buzzes in, he gets to say, I'm going to rock it. And then, David, you'll get a chance to also say that you're going to rock it. And then if you choose rock, which means you're going to change something about the statement, the person who buzzed in second, who answered second, will have to correct the statement first. So Phil buzzed in first. That means that, David, you would say, oh, okay, so I also want to rock it. I'm going to say instead of 1955, it was 1945. And then Phil would get a chance to also correct it. And he could say the same thing that you said, or he could choose a different correction to the statement if he wanted to.
Sounds good. I think we'll get it as we go along. Samson, do you wish to face myself or Hoffman first? Do you want to lose first or second?
I'm looking to win both times, so it doesn't matter who I face. I'll take you on, Phil. Let's go.
All right. Hoffman, if you could lead us into the throes of battle.
All right.
So remember, name is your buzzer, correct? Hoffman, name is your buzzer?
That is correct.
All
I'm
right.
I'm looking to hear a Phil or a David.
All right.
Or Philip's little something if you want to go with your proper name, Samson.
We'll see about that. You'll be having your own little name after we're done with this.
All of my statements here are themed around the American Revolution. So here we go.
God.
All right. The American Revolution began in 1776.
David.
Oh, I heard David first.
So that means I have to go first then?
No. David's going to say if he wants to rock or roll.
Got it.
First.
Got it.
I am going to roll with it.
He's going to roll with it. Philip?
One more time. What was the date that you said?
1776.
Yes. I'm going to roll with it as well.
Common misconception, actually. The official start of the revolution was 1765, and the Tea Party began in 1773, and the fighting began in 1775. So no matter which way you look at it, the fighting did not begin in 1776. That was just the year that the Declaration was signed.
I see. Okay.
All right.
Yeah.
No points, but here we go on to the second statement. The American colonies revolted against the tyrant king, George I.
Philip.
David.
I heard Philip first. What do you want to do, rock or roll?
Rock.
You're going to rock. And David, what do you want to do? Do you want to rock or roll with it?
I am going to roll with it.
You're going to roll with George I. Okay, so Phil, what do you want to rock? What do you want to change here?
It's not George. I want to say it's either if it is George, it's not the first, it's like the third. But I'm going to say it's King Louis the First.
All right, so Phil, because you went with rock, you will get half a point.
Okay.
But that was correct. However, there was no Louis. It was in fact George, but it's George the Third, not the first.
Dang it.
Actually, after you said that, I was like, oh, he said the first. Oh man. Dang it.
Yeah.
Dang it.
It's all right.
There
I can
you
barely
go.
hear you from behind me, David, all the way back there in the losingville. So we'll continue on, Hoffman.
All right, so the score is half a point to you, Phil, and 0 to you, David, but all
Good.
to play for still.
I'm
I
curious.
like to
on,
play
let
from
me just-
behind.
Thank you. I'm curious, Hoffman. Shouldn't it be a point if I got it correct that it's rock, and then an additional half a point if I correctly term whatever is wrong with it? Because otherwise,
Let's go with that.
Yeah,
Let's
because
go
otherwise
with that.
it's a point if you roll correctly.
Yes, you're right. That is actually what we said before the game.
That's what
before
my
we
understanding was
recorded,
for
so
my game too.
You are correct.
Okay.
You are correct.
Cool.
All right. Statement number 3. 56 signatures exist on the Declaration of Independence, including Thomas Jefferson.
Philip.
All right, David. Philip. Do you wanna rock or roll?
I am going to roll.
He's gonna roll with it. And David, what do you want to do?
I'm gonna rock it.
All right. What do you want to change?
I'm gonna say it was 63 signatures, and I'm gonna say that Thomas Jefferson did not sign it.
All right. That is incorrect. The statement was completely true. 56
Good,
signatures, including
Good.
Thomas Jefferson.
Great. I thought you were trying to trick me, but all right, here we go. Starting off strong.
All right. Let's go to the fourth. Still all to play for here, David. You could still claw this back.
Okay.
I suppose you
All right.
could. I suppose a
Florida-
donkey could beat a cheetah in a race.
Florida
Good.
and Maine are the only eastern seaboard states that were not amongst the 13 original colonies.
David,
Yes, David. Would you like to rock or roll?
roll with it.
You're gonna roll with it. Phil, what do you want to do? Rock or roll?
Gonna roll.
You're gonna roll?
I'm gonna roll like the boulder from Indiana Jones.
All right. That is correct. You're both correct, and unfortunately, that means that. No, it's still all to play for.
It's still possible.
It is still possible. All right. The peace treaty to end the war between the U.S. and Britain was negotiated and signed in 1783 in Montreal.
Philip,
All right, Philip,
rock.
you're gonna rock it.
Doesn't David have to answer whether or not he wants to rock? Yeah.
Yes, he does.
Yes.
Hey, David, eyes up. Eyes up. I see you looking around a lot. There seems to be a lot of research in that room that I
Research? I'm pretty sure you would hear my research on my keyboard.
There's a phone over there that's a lot more quiet that I know of.
No, I look down when I think.
And you like to
I'm gonna
pace.
say I do love to pace. I love to pace. I'm gonna say I think I have to just go with roll with it because strategically speaking, I have to.
All right. Well, unfortunately, I'm sorry. Well, okay. I mean, the results are already clear, but Phil, what do you want to change?
Can you restate the statement now? I was
The peace treaty to end the war between the U.S. and Britain was negotiated and signed in 1783 in Montreal.
I believe it was fudge. No, I think it was in Versailles.
There was a treaty once in Versailles, but that was not the same treaty.
Okay.
Treaty of Versailles was entirely different. And no, this was a treaty signed in Paris. So you were correct
Dang
to
it.
rock it. You'll get a point. So
I
you
knew
get
it was Paris,
4
and I was like,
points total.
Dang it.
But a correct answer was in Paris. The year was correct, though.
I
All
knew
right,
the
and
year was correct.
just for fun, the tiebreaker would have been. Sorry, go on.
Yeah, I just want to make it clear. This is just for fun because David Sampson has no way that he can possibly win at this point in time. He's already
Shut up.
lost, right? I just want to
How
make
about
that
this? Whoa. Want to make things interesting? How about we make this last question worth 5 points right now? Does that scare you, or are you confident in your answers?
clear. You know what? I will go with that as long as Sampson has to answer first. I think
Okay.
that's fair. I think that's
All
fair.
right.
I will do that. All right.
I love it. I love it. How exciting.
Okay, all right. Ooh, okay.
All right. This is the tiebreaker.
And it's worth 5. So if I do this, it goes on my official game log here as
All
part
right.
of the tiebreaker. Just making that
Sure.
clear. All
Sure.
right.
Okay.
How about this? We'll make it worth 4 because that's how much David would need to win.
No, he needs
Okay.
5. He needs 5.
No, it's 4-1.
Yeah.
So I need 4.
Oh, 4. I'm sorry.
Won, yeah.
I apologize.
All right,
4.
so it's worth 4 points.
Got
All
it.
right.
Got it.
Closest wins. How many of the 56 signatures of the Declaration of Independence were Philadelphia representatives?
Oof.
So out of the 56, how many were from Philadelphia?
Oh, so I
All
go
right.
first?
You have to
Yeah.
go first. That was one of the conditions.
I'm going to say 22.
All right. Phil, what do you reckon?
22 is not a bad number. 56 out of Philadelphia. So I'm either going 21 or 23. I don't think that there was a vast majority. I know there was a lot from Virginia and probably some from New York. So I'm going to go 21.
And 21 wins it for you, Phil. The correct
Yeah.
answer is 9. 9. So
Oh,
Wow. I thought you
Yeah,
were a lot
you
closer
guys
than what you
were,
were, David.
wow.
precisely.
All right.
Yeah, there were 9 from Philadelphia. It was more than any other of the colonies. Virginia had 7, and Massachusetts only 4, which I had originally thought would be a lot more. But anyway, I'm not going to bore you guys with any more details. We move on to
Exquisite,
Phil's
and
game.
congratulations, David Sam. Oh, wait. I won. I'm so sorry. I knew that there was usually a congratulations involved to the winner, and I didn't hear one from you, Samson. So I just assumed it was on me. It's all right. I'll forego it this way. All right, my version of rock or roll to the two Davids. Again, we will go to Hoffman or Samson for this particular one, so I will need your names as such. Additionally, David Hoffman does have a win under his belt from last week, so he gets one use of his skipping stone, should he wish to use that. We will go to my rendition. Mine does not fully incorporate one event. It's revolutions across the world, across the spectrum, across everything that we know right now. So my first thing of rock or roll, I will always be giving a little bit of context before the statement, and then I'll give you the statement, and I'll delineate the two. So Les Miserables is a film that's a musical that's based off of a Broadway play that's based off of a book of the same title concerning, and here's the statement. Revolution. In order to flip the script on his normal jacked look, Hugh Jackman, who plays Jean Valjean, denied himself protein for a period of time to achieve a more gauntish look.
Samson.
Samson? You're going to rock or are you going to roll?
I'm going to roll with it.
He's going to roll with it. And we go to Hoffman.
I'm also going to roll with it.
You both are going to roll, and you both are going to be incorrect. He actually did not deny himself protein. He denied himself water for 72 hours, leading to massive headaches and film stoppages because of that. But he became more gauntish in that opening scene, if you have seen the film, and why he looks so skinny and everything else. All right, so you both are tied at 0. Phenomenal. Next one, we move on to Battlefield Earth, a classic of John Travolta's. It's a film that offers the opportunity to see revolution in the future where aliens have captured Earth and humans will have to fight to get it back. We move on to the statement. However, with a Rotten Tomatoes critics score of 3% and audience score of 12%, it's easy to say this 2000 sci-fi flick is one of the biggest flops of our generation.
Samson.
I got Samson first. Do you want to rock or roll with it?
I think I'm going to roll with it.
He's going to roll with it. How about you, Hoffman?
Could you say the statement again?
Statement again, absolutely. However, with a Rotten Tomatoes critics score of 3% and audience score of 12%, it's easy to say this 2000 sci-fi flick is one of the biggest flops of our generation.
All right, I'm going to rock it, and I'm going to switch the percentages.
You're going to switch them, flip them. Okay. David's right, and it's David Samson, unfortunately. He does get a point. He was indeed a full on roll in this particular one. All right, we move on to the next one. Elvis is known as something of a harbinger to bring the rock and roll revolution mainstream. But did you know? Here we go to the statement. Elvis had some unusual cravings when it came to, well, everything, but we'll stick to food for now, such as bringing to food prominence a sandwich known as the Fool's Gold Loaf, a loaf of French white bread filled with a pound each of bacon, peanut butter, and strawberry jelly.
Samson.
Samson.
I'm going to roll with it.
He's going to roll with it. How about you, Hoffman?
I think I'm also going to roll with it.
You both roll with it, and yet again, you're both incorrect here. The majority of it is correct. However, it was not strawberry jelly. He very much and adamantly preferred grape jelly, a pound of grape jelly.
Oh gosh! See, I heard that. I knew it was
sounds revolting.
It is. It's based in butter. You put it in an oven. It's
you
crispy.
Didn't get the pun, Phil?
It slid right past me.
Do you get it now, at least?
I don't, actually.
I said it sounds revolting.
I heard you.
Oh, I thought you were trying to make like a grape jelly joke. I didn't know it was going to be a revolution joke.
Oh, I was thinking
Oh,
it was a
get it?
song
Now
concerning
he gets
Elvis.
it.
I thought it was a song concerning Elvis. I was like, I don't know that song.
See, you thought Elvis. I thought
Jesus.
jelly. He thought revolution.
And now the audience is jelly of our situation. Let's move along. Again, you still have a skipping stone, should ever, if ever you want to use that, Hoffman.
Oh, man, I always forget about it.
I know. You need to hold it. Hold it and clench it tight.
I'm holding it.
Like it's a secret in the
The
night.
score is 1-0.
Yes, absolutely. Here we go. In favor of Samson.
Okay.
Historically, there are a lot of instances of fashionary revolutions. Yet we travel to stuffy France for this next iteration of revolution to meet King Louis XIV. Let's move to the statement. The so-called Sun King jump-started his nation's textile and jewelry industries, championed bold and bright colors in clothing design, and instituted a lavish dress code that made his court the height of 17th century style. Louis was also something of a trendsetter in his own right. During his 72-year reign, he famously promoted red-heeled shoes as a status symbol, and he's often credited with popularizing wigs. A lot there.
Samson.
I got Samson first again here, actually.
Oh, wow.
I'm going to roll with it.
He's going to roll with it. How about you, Hoffman?
I'm going to rock it. And 72 years just sounds a little too long.
For the French?
But I don't know. I'm going to say 27 years.
I'm going to say 27 years. Okay. If nothing else, he got the year reign as identified as what he's going to roll with, or excuse me, what he's going to rock with. However, you should have rolled when you rocked. It is, in fact, all true, all of it. Samson, I believe, has secured his victory, unless he's willing to offer you the same.
No. He's only got 2 points, so it's still possible.
It's still possible. Okay, so we got one last one, unless you want to do a skipping stone here.
Of course.
Last one. Steve Jobs is credited as being a revolutionary in the tech world, but did you know? Here begins the statement. Steve Jobs kept a lot of his private life hidden, including the fact that he was indeed adopted and denied paternity of his daughter for years.
Samson.
We're
going to roll with it one last time.
He's going to roll down the hill. Hoffman?
I have to choose rock.
Uh-huh.
And I'm going to say that I'm just going to go out on a limb here and change Steve Jobs to Jeff Bezos.
Okay. David Samson, you have rolled yourself to a convincing victory, shutting out Hoffman 3-0 in what is now dubbed as the most embarrassing loss of all of POWWOW podcast history.
Here's the thing. A revolution doesn't start with just one big thing, okay? A revolution starts with one person at a time. And I took out Hoffman, and you're next, Phil.
Your next episode? Next episode? Because this episode and last episode, I took care of business. That's all I know.
We'll see about that.
Thank you so much. Samson, is there anything you want to plug this episode? I know that there's something in the works, but I don't know if you're willing to announce that, promote it.
Yeah, so you guys can follow me on Instagram at Savid_Damson, SAVID_DAMSON. Also, D21 Productions, my production company. We're going to be coming out with a new short film very soon, and it's going to hopefully be on the festival circuit and see how it goes. So if you want to keep up to date with that, feel free to follow.
Just to be crystal clear, it was a new short film or a nude short film?
If you're going to be in it, it might be a nude short film.
Yeah, well, we know what the D and D21 stands for. Thank you so much. Thank you so much for joining us, Samson. We really appreciate it, man.
No worries.
It slaps to the max. Of course, we bring you our entertainment of the week, whether that be in the form of a movie, a TV show, or song. Mostly songs.
Or a book. Or a book.
No,
Could be a book.
No.
A book could slap.
You can't, but it has to be within a week. Can you read a book within a week?
You could read a book. I can't, but someone can.
I guess
I'm
it
sure.
depends on the book. If we're talking Dr. Seuss, Where's My Mother? I would hope that that's a weekly end date.
I'm just saying, it's possible. I read the first Game of Thrones book in 2 weeks.
The first one's not.
So I could read.
The first one's
that's
like
a chunky ass book.
Well, I know, but speaking about normal sized books, though, that's actually pretty much on par, right? It's the rest of them that are canonical volumes and libraries unto themselves.
No. It's not the shortest one of the bunch. I don't think. It's like 700 something pages. It's a fairly sizable novel. Most novels are smaller than that.
Regardless, we do not bring you a book this week, or at least I certainly don't.
Neither did I.
Phenomenal. My addition this week to the That Slaps archives is a song called Far Away by Peter Fenn. No, not Far Away by Nickelback, which actually is probably their best song, but I digress. Far Away by Peter Fenn, much different vibe, very good song. More indie than anything else. Love it. That slaps.
I look forward to listening to it, Phil. Certainly more so than last week's edition. When
you finally listened? You weren't a fan?
Of Robin Thicke's
yes.
Blurred Lines?
I have my weeks mixed up. I was thinking of Cold Heart. I apologize. Yeah, Blurred Lines was it was scurry.
It was a desecration of the slapitude. Anyway, I'm bringing a movie this week. It's called Freedom Writers. It is a 90s. No, it's a 2007 film.
Yeah, come on, man.
Set in the 90s.
Don't age us that much.
And it stars. It stars Hilary Swank.
Is she hot or not?
Yes. Sure. Yeah, she's hot. She's hot.
I guess I have to fulfill
she's
the other
hot
end.
She's hot as heck.
Then no, she's not hot. Sorry, that's an.
She's beautiful.
That's an office. That's an office reference. If you have not, we're not actually.
Yes, obviously she's gorgeous and wonderful. Yes. Freedom Writers, very good movie, and it's received a lot of criticism, not unfounded, but looking past that, it is a slappy movie. So there you go.
Of course, we bring out the end of the podcast here with a couple of thank yous to round it all out. Thank you to Josh Haunt and Tara Amstutz for their wonderful contributions to the podcast. We appreciate it so much, and we look forward to them each and every week.
And thank you to Cass and Crossland and Jake Corlang for the music that you hear on the show. We love you guys.
And thank you, most importantly, to you, the listener. Yes, you. Thank you so much for listening to us either on Apple Podcasts, Spotify Podcasts, or wherever it is you are indeed listening to us on at this current moment. If you have not already, please consider hitting that subscribe button. It helps us, helps you find us more easier. And all around, it just makes for a better listening experience. Just a better listening experience. Thank you so much.
Ladies and gentlemen, the revolution! First, send in the bears!